Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about Nvidia, and it turns out that Nvidia stock has plummeted a whopping $589 billion. And this is not due to the outrageous pricing or the perceived outrageous pricing of the 5090. This is because of DeepSeek. So for those who may be unaware, DeepSeek is a Chinese company and they've just released a brand new AI model. It's being seen as a threat to OpenAI and only cost $5.6 million to train as opposed to over $100 million for OpenAI. And interestingly here, it's being reported Nvidia's stock drop is the worst single-day market cap loss in history. If you are curious about this new AI model and wanted to learn more about it, like everything I talk about, link will be in the description below right at the bottom. I don't hide my sources. Anyways, they're saying performance is on par with OpenAI, which is very impressive given the fact that this is so new. It's worth pointing out that although Nvidia's stock dropped massively yesterday, by the end of the day, it did seem to bounce back a little bit. Not a whole lot, but I mean, more than nothing. I'm curious to see if the trend continues, if the stock bounces back even more today, or what the heck happens moving forward. This is obviously a huge blow to Nvidia. And speaking about stuff that happened at the end of the day, next up we're talking about Sony, and Sony seems to have a bit of a shakeup here with their CEOs. In my opinion here, one of the more interesting things is that Herman Hulst is no longer co-CEO of SIE. He will remain as CEO of the Studio Business Group and will lead PlayStation productions. We'll have to wait and see moving forward to see what these moves mean and whether or not they were effective and a good choice. I've really got no idea here, and some people may not even notice a difference. And I mean, the reason I'm saying this is because of this quote here. We will continue to grow the PlayStation community in new ways, such as IP expansion, while also delivering the best in technology innovation. That to me is a corporate nothing burger. It's not really saying anything at all. I mean, I would say any CEO, anyone running Sony or PlayStation would want to do the exact same thing. So again, we're going to have to wait and see what these moves mean for PlayStation and Sony as a whole. Next up, we're talking about limited run games, and there's a question online right now as to whether or not limited run violated GPL licensing with their Tomba Special Edition for the Nintendo Switch. This issue is posted right on the PCSX Rearmed GitHub page, and this person says, I saw the license in the credits of the Nintendo Switch game Tomba Special Edition that the game uses PCSX Rearmed. Is it a GPL violation? I thought that GPL was incompatible with consoles because you couldn't publish the modified source code due to the console's SDK NDAs. Based on the comments here, it still seems things are up for debate, and I don't know what's going to happen moving forward, if this is a nothing burger or if this is something. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an expert on GPL stuff. Someone does point out there may be a precedent with this case thanks to ScumVM. We'll have to wait and see if anything unfolds because of this and if any action is taken or if the license isn't being violated. I've really got no idea. If you do, if you've got really good knowledge on the subject, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Next up, we're talking about Nvidia again, and we're talking about the RTX 5080, not the 5090 this time. And it appears the initial test, and who knows if this is going to carry over for other people as well, but the initial first review shows that the performance is not necessarily as much as people may have hoped. It appears that the 5080 is about 8% faster than the 4080. To be specific here, and before anyone calls me out in the comments, it's 8.3% faster than the RTX 4080 Super across 11 games. And I'm very curious to see if this is replicated by other people here. But these numbers to me are very disappointing after Nvidia's press about the 5070, 5080, and 5090. Let me know your thoughts about this one. There are some people saying that the 5080 is basically a 4080 Super Ti, which I guess might be true based on this testing. I mean, to me this is, well, hopefully it gets better with drivers here, but I don't know what to expect anymore without DLSS. Next up here, we're talking about GOG, and in my opinion, GOG keeps making decisions here that are going to increase its popularity, especially with all of this game preservation. So GOG has just announced GOG Dreamlist. They say, what if all the games you love were yours to keep, DRM free forever? With this updated and improved version of the well-known community wish list, we're putting the power in your hands. They continue to say, vote for any game you'd like to see on GOG. From inaccessible classics to modern masterpieces, your dream games deserve their forever home. The GOG Dreamlist isn't just a wish list, it's a movement. Your votes help us navigate the complexities of licensing rights and technology to bring these games to life on GOG, where they'll be DRM-free and yours to keep forever. The GOG Dreamlist site is up and it's active, and right now there's over 4,400,000 total upvotes. So feel free to take a look at this and I guess either input or vote on your favorite game. And on a side note here, it appears that both Dino Crisis and Dino Crisis 2 are now available to be purchased, or you can purchase them in a bundle. And the bundle isn't that expensive, and yes, it's DRM free, and yes, it should work on modern PCs. Next up, we're talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation with Mandarine 3DS. And Mandarine 3DS just got a brand new update. For those who may be unaware, and I think we've talked about Mandarine a few times a while back, Mandarine is a free and open source 3DS emulator. It is available on GitHub and it's for Windows, Linux, and Android. Anyways, the previous update was September 5th. And they've got a brand new update here to version 1.2 and actually to version 1.2.1. Taking a look at the changelog here from Mandarine, and it seems like they've implemented quite a few things and taken some changes from a bunch of different developers. So I see they've added in multiplayer support, implemented multi-game folder support, and they've also added in Android 15 support. Moving on, and still talking about 3DS emulation, but just talking about Android, and we're talking about Citra MMJ. And Citra MMJ appears to be alive and well. It just got a brand new update here over on GitHub. Now, for those who may be unaware, Citra MMJ is a performance-based fork of Citra. It trades accuracy for performance and sometimes performs better on lower-end devices, and sometimes performs better on higher-end devices. However, things may not be as exactly as you would see them on a Nintendo 3DS. And the MMJ in Citra MMJ stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano. Next up, we're talking about the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 event in April. Now, we talked about this one yesterday, where emails started going out and letting you know whether or not you were accepted and invited to it or rejected. And it seems like some big names like Jeff Keighley were rejected. Anyways, here, I never signed up for it, but it seems that some people really wanted to go. In fact, they're turning to places like eBay to try to buy an event ticket. These event tickets are non-transferable, and eBay has been pretty vigilant on trying to take them down. From my understanding, some of these have been going for like $1,000 and stuff, and I would say that's kind of crazy given the fact that they are non-transferable, and if someone were to buy something like this, I don't think they can even use it. Anyways, just I guess this is just a friendly heads up. If you really wanted to go to the Switch 2 event, you're going to have to either get accepted by Nintendo or possibly just not go. And speaking about hardware, next up we're talking about System 76. And System 76 has just released a brand new Linux purpose-built mini PC called the Meerkat. And this one's pricing starts at $799. The size of this thing is pretty small. It's coming in at 4.5 square inches. And I'm going to say it's not necessarily going to be a modern gaming powerhouse. It features an Intel Core Ultra CPU, either a 5 or a 7. You can crank up the RAM in this thing, and it is fully repairable. You can open it up completely. On the front, we've got 3 USB ports, 1 USB-A and 2 USB-Cs. Surprisingly, it's got a barrel adapter on the back. I figured it would have been USB-C as well. And there are 2 additional USB-A ports on the back, 2 HDMI outs, and 2 Ethernet jacks. You probably already know this, but I'm a big fan of System 76. I'm a big fan of their hardware. I think it's very good quality, and I like the right to repair. I'm also a big fan of what they're doing in the Linux space, specifically with Cosmic Desktop Environment. Next up, we're talking about The Sims, and it seems there's a very huge rumor that The Sims 1 and The Sims 2 PC games are going to be re-released this Friday. I have seen a lot of discussions regarding this leak. Some people are saying it's going to be like a brand new game. The games are remastered and there's going to be new stuff in it and even more. And then I've also seen the exact opposite, where it's just going to be the exact same games, only they work on Windows 10 and 11. My gut tells me that this is going to be a low-effort re-release, but I could be completely wrong here. A lot of people seem to be extremely excited about this one. If you are, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And last up here, we're talking about RuneScape. If you're a fan of RuneScape and a fan of the Sega Dreamcast, you may be a fan of this port. Someone has ported RuneScape Classic to the Sega Dreamcast. Now, it is worth noting that this is super early on in terms of development, and I think the developer says it runs at something like 1 frames per second. So it isn't going to be perfect. It's going to probably be a while before it's up and running and optimized to run well on the Dreamcast, if it ever does. Either way here, I think this is pretty cool, pretty impressive, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the matter. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and the legendary one, fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.